And welcome back to the Wager Wise podcast, episode 49, I think.
49 already.
I think we're almost at the half century next week.
Crazy.
It is exciting. I've got the music running in the background. I don't know if it's too loud or anything, but I'll knock it off right now. But welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another week. This week we are covering UFC Fight Night Mexico City. God knows what. If it's are they calling it Noche? I don't know. I've got no idea.
Nah, they're not calling it Noche. I thought it was a Noche card.
Yeah. I wasn't 100%. You never know with these. To be fair, even these ones that are in the Apex and stuff, they sometimes have weird names for them and stuff like that. So, UFC Fight Night Mexico, headlined by Brandon Moreno taking on Lone'er Kavanagh. Obviously, Loney in on short notice. We're going to cover this card bottom to top, betting tips and predictions, full analysis as always. I'm here with my boy Ryan. You got your coffee?
Ready to go.
I got my coffee. What are you taking down this morning?
Oh, mate, this is a large cappuccino, one sugar, my friend.
Love that.
I am definitely liking the taste of it, and I'm not liking the taste of this card.
Yeah, this is an ugly betting card for sure. I don't know about you. I got absolutely fingered last week.
I actually finished on top.
Oh, that's good.
Luckily.
I'm glad to hear that because I got absolutely nuked. I went pretty heavy early in the card with a couple of plays, like violence plays particularly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you watched the card obviously, but there was not much violence in that card early. The main card definitely stepped up and delivered later, but the early prelims had absolutely nothing, which is not typical, to be honest.
Crazy. Yeah, I actually predicted the Jean-Paul Lebosniani decision.
Yep.
Like, I just thought, oh man, like Phil Rowe, he's either gonna win by knockout or lose by decision. And there was some very sweaty moments, but getting that decision line at plus 310 was pretty good. Ramiz Brahimaj shat the bed. Looked to be that was a 2.5 unit play for me, so I thought the night was going to go downhill. But then Jocelyn Edwards in the distance at plus 400. I'm pretty sure you got the sub.
Got the sub. Got the sub.
Incredible. I also did Alibi Idris.
Yeah, good call there.
Chidi Njokwani. I think he did he had an all right performance. Like it.
I think we made a good bet there, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a bet
but
I was happy to make.
Yeah.
Zachary Reese, I thought he should have won that fight, had his money line, but played my my ladder for non-violence on that card or that fight. Over 1.5, fight starts round 3.
God, you're good at those.
Over 2.5. It was a comedy of a
God,
fight.
you are good at those.
Yeah. And got Uros Medic at the end, which sealed a winning night.
Another good
Couldn't
call.
get the Strickland fluffy fight goes the distance, and for some reason, like, I'm never betting Ante Delia again after losing, but by boxing to Sergey Spivak.
I mean, who would have picked that? Who would have picked him to get outboxed by fucking Sergey Spivak?
Terrible.
Insane. Yeah, I got nuked. I thought Jude East might have a good chance of finishing, but kind of never looked really that likely, to be honest. Yadir Del Val, that is one of the worst.
Oh, that killed me.
I've ever seen in my life. Jordan Levitt, that is just a horror way to win a fight. Like, pretty impressive wrestling and stuff to get the fight to the ground when he needed it, but like no urgency on top to do literally anything.
No.
And yeah, I guess Del Val looked really stupid because he, jumped guillotine and really looked like he had nothing off his back. Arrest Algerian. That's
my biggest takeaway from that fight. We have to. It's confirmed, fixed now.
Yeah, it just has to be. Alden Correa, I thought looked pretty good. You've touched on those other ones. Josiah Harrell, feel bad for that guy, man. Feel really bad for that guy. Like coming off that brain, injury surgery, and then absorbing a stoppage like that. That was a pretty tough one to watch.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping it would get late because I think he could have turned it on.
Yeah, that was very typical Jacoby Smith right there as well. Like, didn't really look like he was putting pedal to metal, sort of getting some takedown stuffed and things like that. And you're going, fuck, maybe Harrell actually has a chance here. He got his own takedown, and then somehow He just like scrambles his way on
Yeah.
top from bottom and then just lands these like crazy punches and elbows and just kills this guy. It was pretty brutal watching, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a tough watch.
And then Melky Costa somehow continues this fucking meme run of finishes against Dan Ige. Another one just pulls out this spinning back kick and just finishes him. I don't know. I really can't read this guy. So I'm so glad I didn't have anything on that fight. But yeah, he's a bizarre unit. I'll never understand him. But
Yeah.
what do you say we get into this card?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, bottom to top, as always. It was always going to be this name that we started with. Damian Pinas, I'm going to go with.
Yep.
Not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to be pronouncing it. Damian Pinas taking on Wes Schultz. Prices, we have Damian Pinas, a pretty firm favourite, minus 245. We come back on Wes Schultz, plus 210. I'll kick this one off. I think Wes Schultz is an absolute battler on the feet, to be honest. Like, he makes DDP look like a technical striker. He's really not good on the feet. He's got no footwork. Everything looks very uncomfortable and unorthodox. Little to no head movement. He does have a pretty crafty guard on the mat. Like, he'll jump submissions and be very submission over position, but he's clearly got like a wide range of subs in his bag, and he can definitely threaten there. I think over 15 minutes, he kind of has a questionable tank, but again, it's kind of like, I think he's pretty oddly similar to like the Dricus Duplessis, where he looks fatigued, but he somehow can like manage to push through and just like grit it out more than these guys. So I kind of think he does have an angle here in this fight. Like with Pinas, he clearly is just like stupidly athletic and physical, but I don't think his style looks particularly long for success in the UFC. Like, he's probably going to be able to hurt just about anyone if he can land on them, but he is kind of hesitant to throw first. He has a very planted footwork style where he does eat a lot of leg kicks and shells up, and he's happy to cover up and reset at times, which I don't love for a striker, but he was able to be held down against the cage versus Silva. He never looked likely to get taken down, but he was kind of just happy to be stalled there, and he looked for knees and elbows against the cage. He's also got taken down versus Gregory on the regional super, super easily. Like, the way he was able to get to his hips, he was straight off his feet. And to be honest, he had fuck all to offer and was held flat on his back for a few minutes. He did hit like a pretty nice Kimura sweep, but to be honest, he just looks super green on the mat. And the commentator mentioned that he was a white belt in that fight, and that was about a year ago. So, I mean, yeah, he's going to have improved, but like, is he going to be more than a blue belt? Probably not. Overall, this is just a grapple versus striker matchup to the highest degree. I think if this spends extended time on the feet, Pinas TKO is very, very likely. I think if this spends extended time on the mat, I think Wes sub is very, very likely. I lean the unders pretty heavy. Prices weren't out when I did tape on this one, but I'll have a look now. Under 2.5 is minus 450. Under 1.5 is minus 180. It's fucking horrible across the board. I would say maybe look for like a Pinas TKO, which is looking like, that's not even plus money. It's minus 145, or a Wes by sub is plus 400, somewhere around that. If I was to play it from a value perspective, it'd have to be Wes by submission, but I don't think I'd want money on it, so probably just be a pass for me.
Yeah, I was pretty tempted to take the shot on Wes here. Like, Pinas's grappling hasn't really been it just doesn't look good. Like you said, in the regionals, like he kind of bailed himself out using his athleticism and explosiveness. And he's white belt like a year ago. He definitely have a lot of trouble with Wes Schultz on top of him. Like, did you see Wes Schultz's contender series fight where he got that? I don't even know what to call it. That
the Suliev stretch.
Yeah, that was bizarre to watch.
Yeah,
and he has a win like in the regionals via Von Flue. So he's very clearly very crafty there. But I think for Schultz to get him on the ground, he'll need to close the distance without absorbing no damage and get straight to work or to weather the early storm. And with how exploitable he looks on the feet with his strikes, I just don't see him not getting cracked in the boxing range. Like, if Schultz kind of blitzes in with his wide shots, he's very wide open for Pinas's straight right over the top. And I think maybe any early takedown attempts will be stopped while Pinas is very fresh. So ultimately, if this gets extended, I have to favor Wes here. But yeah, I have a hard time seeing it get past like the first round, to be honest. So I'll probably pick Pinas to win here, but yeah, probably an unders is the way to go.
Yeah, there's not much value getting around. Like Pinas round 1 plus 150. Pinas round 1, TKO plus 190. Like there's just no value. I don't know how you would possibly play this fight and be happy with it. So yeah, it's a tough one. Achilles. Hello, mate. Good to see you, brother. How you going?
How you doing, brother?
All right, up the card to men's featherweight. We have the returning Eric Silva coming off that ACL, I believe it was, injury, taking on Francis the Fireman Marshall. Prices we are dealing with insanity.
Yeah.
Francis Marshall minus 750. The comeback on Eric Silva is like plus 525, somewhere around there. Ryan, does this man cover his minus 700 fucking million price tag, or does Eric Silva somehow win this one?
I actually think he does. I struggled to find many paths for victory for the 38-year-old Eric Silva, who's coming off that round 1 leg injury in 2024. This he's just very stiff on the feet, bounces around, looks to time blitzes with looping, labored strikes, and then shoot for the legs. His takedowns are like hard to defend due to him driving forward with like a lot of intensity, and he is very physical and strong from top control, lands heavy ground and pound, and is aggressive in moving through positions, but he's up there in age, and you got to question his durability. And in all 3 losses have been through finish. Francis Marshall, he's 2-3 in the UFC, coming off a split decision loss to Myron Santos, which is actually aging pretty gracefully, and that's a fight that he arguably could have won. Marshall's got solid boxing. He uses a lot of feints and level changes, bouncy footwork, and effective use of calf kicks from distance. He's explosive, carries good power, got good timing with counters. He does carry his hands low in the pocket, but he has very good in and out footwork, and his wrestling is pretty relentless. Like his takedowns are hard to stop, and he's great at maintaining top control once he secures dominant position. Yeah, I think Marshall should have him covered like everywhere, and I'll be surprised if he doesn't like get a finish in this fight. Too much speed, too much power coming at Silva, who's like probably a bit like on the low end of his durability. So yeah, I do think Francis Marshall covers the price.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never playing this guy minus 750. This
No.
Francis Marshall is just not a guy that should ever be minus 750, in my opinion. Like, he is good. I think he's pretty well rounded, but he's one of those guys that is not good enough anywhere, to be honest. Like, if you're an expert in one area, you're probably going to be better than him in that area. Like, he is well rounded and he's good everywhere. He's just not brilliant anywhere. Like, I think his boxing is fine. If he fought a good striker, he's going to get outboxed, to be honest with you. And he has good wrestling entries, and we've seen it. If he takes on a better wrestler like he did at Bulgarian, he's probably going to get smashed on the ground. It's just the way he is. And yeah, he's youthful and he's good and he's developing, and I do think he's improving. But I'm cautious of these spots typically where a guy comes off a fight where he should have won, loses a split decision. It's a letdown spot.
Right.
It's a letdown spot a lot of the time. People go back and they watch that fight and they go, fuck, he should have won that fight. He's obviously going to win his next fight. It's not always the case. So I'm immediately always cautious of these spots, and particularly of a guy who I don't think is, that good anywhere. Eric Silva, it's like, do you want to fade shit with shit? This is the issue. Do you want to fade shit with shit? And to be honest, I don't. But I don't know. He just, like, Marshall doesn't push this insane pace. I think his finishing ability in the UFC is on the lower end. That's not to say he won't finish this fight, because he will have a chance, because that's the kind of guy Silva is. But to be honest, I think he's going to wrestle box for 15 minutes. He's mostly going to look for takedown entries, and that kind of plays into Silva's strong suits, in my opinion. Like, Silva's pretty bad. He's returning from injury, and kind of like, he's really a bit of an unknown overall. We haven't seen him. He doesn't fight regularly, things like that. And I think he's probably also front-loaded to the first 2 rounds, judging by that TJ Brown fight. But, like, honestly, he has a pretty decent scramble ability. He can negate, like, first takedown entries. And to be honest, he's, like, decent enough against the cage. So, yeah, I think Marshall's probably the winner of this fight, and it's hard to argue. But that price is wild. So, I'm kind of intrigued by the Silva by sub. It's plus 1,800. It's probably the only way he wins this fight. And I think Marshall will give him opportunities to have a look for that by entering into takedowns and things like that. So, plus 1,800 feels wild. I'm going to have a little nibble on that for sure. I think Francis Marshall probably and should definitely win. But you give me that on his likely only path to victory that he gets a couple of chances in, I'll probably have a nibble at it. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. 750 odd this guy is it's insane. It's insane. It's wild. So yeah, that's probably like my biggest value play on the card. Not to say that he wins it, but I think he might have a couple of opportunities early. So we'll see how that one ends up. Could be a horror call in hindsight, but I guess we'll find out. I also didn't mind the look of fight ends by sub overall because I think it covers both guys. Like I think Marshall could sub him, and I think he could sub Marshall, but it's just not as juicy. So take it as you will. Depends how much your risk tolerance is. But anyways, up the card. I don't know. We'll touch on this one very, very quickly. Regina Taryn taking on Ernesta Karakite. Regina in on short notice with Sophie Montenegro out. I have no idea about this one. Have no idea who this woman is off the regionals. So we're probably not going to touch on it. But maybe stay tuned to the Twitter where we might post something about it. Happy with that? You got anything to touch on there?
Yeah, I actually thought there was pretty good value on Montenegro as in the original matchup.
Yeah, me too.
Ernesta, like she doesn't really use her like she's very tall and she's got a long reach, but she doesn't use it to the best of her advantage, and she doesn't really have elusive footwork. Like she kind of just stays there in the pocket, and like as she's throwing, like her hands don't come back up. So that would have provided a lot of opportunity for Montenegro to just land that straight like 1-2, and she has like a lot of power. I don't know why Karakiati's nickname is Heavy Hands. It's not really like she doesn't have.
It's a legit opposite.
When I'm watching her, I don't really see heavy hands. Like they're fast, and she can definitely pour on some volume. But like I don't think she can get like one punch knockouts. While I tend to think that Montenegro had a better chance like getting like knockdowns with one punches. Like we've seen it. So I'm gonna have a look at Regina Taryn. I think the prices. I think I saw on Twitter that she's only a plus 120.
Yeah,
so there must be some sort of upside grappling wise or something. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, I could see a plus 140.
Plus 140. So I'll definitely give that a look. Might post something on my Twitter.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way I had the same thing with Montenegro, and I thought it was probably going to be by cage clinch, sort of ugly, making it close sort of fight like that. Maybe Taryn's got similar attributes. Don't know. We'll have to look into that one a bit more, but we'll keep it moving anyway. Up the card to featherweight, we have Douglas Silva D Andrade, DSDA, taking on Javier Reyes. Prices, we have Javier Reyes minus 220 and the comeback on DSDA plus 185, plus 190, somewhere in that realm. Take it away, my friend.
Oh, my brother. I remember you messaged me last week about this one, and it definitely got me very intrigued on the Douglas Silva de Andrade side. Ton of valuable experience, and he's an explosive striker, stands in a strong, wide, orthodox stance, heavy leg kicks from distance, and times his spots to explode into flurries or land a big shot. But sometimes he can be a bit low volume, and he is hittable as he doesn't really like move his head. He gets kind of overzealous when he's unloading, but he is very durable. Only been finished twice, which was a guillotine loss to Rob Font and a corner stoppage against Peter Yan. He is up there in age now and quite inactive, fought only twice since 2023, which I don't mind for him since he's up there in age.
Yeah.
Javier Reyes won a contract with that knockout of Justice Torres in round 1. He's got awkward as hell striking, stands tall, carries his hands low and chin high, especially as he's moving backwards. Like he lifts his chin as he's retreating, which is definitely not a good thing here. He does have snappy power, but like he kind of shows his strikes. Like he hops into range and telegraphs his swings. It's like when someone's like pitching a baseball or something. He's like just gonna hop there and then kind of just show it and then
Waldo.
Throw. Yeah, just like Waldo. He is great at walking down and swarming opponents once they are hurt and on the back foot, which is a little worrying here. And he's very strong in the clinch. Lands good knees, and while he isn't explosive, he is very physical when he grabs a hold of you, and if he gets on top, he has pretty dominant top control. I think, as you touched on like in our message last week, this is the only fight that we've messaged about, but yeah, a lot of lot of value in Douglas Silva, the Andrade, seeing is that it could be a fight that should be lined as like a close pick'em. Obviously, if it gets extended and Javier Reyes is um, just making him carry his weight along the fence, maybe he can really wear on him and kind of sneak out like a 29-28 decision. But if Reyes like wants to like charge at him, like I feel like it's going to be target practice for Silva, at least early. So there's a good upside for like Douglas Silva, the Andrade, to like get maybe round 1 or round 2 stoppage, or at least land enough damage in round 1 and round 2 to secure those rounds. And as for Javier Reyes, you got to think that if he covers this price tag, that he finishes Douglas Silva, the Andrade, which it's very hard to finish this guy. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait and see if like the price goes up to like maybe the plus 200, plus 210, just so I can have a little nibble on it. But yeah, there's good value on him right now.
Yeah, I get it. It's one you want to grab your nose and sort of go, ew, don't know if I love this plus 190 on DSDA. But I don't know how you don't get to DSDA here. Like, Javier Reyes, he doesn't look that good to me. Like, I don't know if you heard this commentary. I forget if it was in his contender series fight or if it was on the regional scene, but one of the fights that I watched back, the commentary mentioned that he was 30-0 as an amateur. And it obviously doesn't show that on Tapology or any of those things.
Don't believe it.
I mean, if that's the case, that's fucking insane. And typically that's a good sign of success in a career. If you can have a hugely extensive amateur career that's 30-0, usually that's a good sign that you're going to be pretty fucking good. But I can't find any evidence of that, so I don't know what's happening. But this Reyes is so weird, man. He's extremely wide-eyed in there. Like, he looks like he's had sort of like several pingers before he enters the cage. And he comes in there and he's just like this the whole fucking time, just looking at his opponent. Even when they're fighting, he's like so locked in. It's actually disturbing, to be honest. I thought he looked okay on Contender Series, but to be honest, his regional scene tape is really not good. Like, he's got slumped out cold bad like 5 fights ago. He got outstruck 2 fights ago to a decision. I have to kind of question his striking. I think it's kind of lackluster, to be honest. And he can be backed up plenty. He's got low hands. I think that's a dangerous combo in general, but especially when you're versing a big hitter like DSDA. He does look to wrestle plenty, but to be honest with you, I don't think he's good enough to really take DSDA down easily or consistently, specifically early. So this was a pretty easy dog shot for me here. Like, yeah, I get it. DSDA is 40. He's on the tail end of his career. He's probably performances are starting to get a bit worse, but he's got big power in his hands. Yeah, he's low volume, but he's fought plenty of better competition in his day. And to be honest, it's not like Reyes is going to push this psychotic pace, because if he does, he's way too defensively poor that DSDA is going to touch him up and make him worried to engage, in my opinion. So, like I said, DSDA is low volume, but I think he's going to have bigger moments, particularly in round 1 and round 2. So I doubt Reyes can have sustained success wrestling DSDA for 15 minutes. So I kind of question, like, where's his win equity? I really don't know where it is. Like, do I think he knocks DSDA out? Maybe. He's old and on the tail end of his career, so maybe. But other than that, I really don't. I don't see it. I get DSDA didn't look great versus Johns, but who's to say that he hasn't got like one more low-level win in the books? At the number, I'm on the DSDA side. Plus 190 it's an easy 1 unit play for me on DSDA. If he doesn't win, it is what it is. But I don't think Reyes is that good, and I'm kind of willing to find out. So yeah, I got 1 unit on the plus 195 for DSDA.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop in that too.
Yeah. Nice. Let's see where we end up. Here we go. Men's bantamweight, Christian Quinones taking on Chris Moutinho. Prices, we got Christian Quinones minus 700. Oof. The comeback on Chris Moutinho is plus 500. I mean, is Christian Quinones the worst fighter to ever be minus 700?
Oh, yeah, minus 700. Yeah, that's probably one of the worst fighters to be minus 700.
You're like, surely. And again, I said it earlier, you can't fade shit with shit. I think Quinones is definitely better than Moutinho. Hard not to be honest. He's a decent striker, Quinones, I think, but he's got some defensive striking, woes that have affected him in the past. But he's competed with better guys like Rowdy Barcelos and even Koho Kang. Like a few of these guys, they're much better than Moutinho. So I think this is a step down in competition that he should look good with. But I don't really give a fuck about this. It's probably going to be a fun striking fight. I'm not interested. I don't know anything about the 1.5 line. I looked at it. I'm like, don't love under 1.5. Don't love over 1.5. This could end early. This could end late. This could go to decision. This could be anything. I want no business being involved in this fight, and I have no business being involved in this fight. So, yeah, nothing on this one. Quinones should win. Probably should knock him out, but who the fuck knows?
Yeah, it's very odd seeing Quinones as a minus 700 favorite, as he's a journeyman, underachiever. But I think he should be able to comfortably show out here. Like he's skilled, he is a skilled fighter, but he does lack the composure and classiness to really be a threat to anyone in that top 15 or maybe even outside of that. Fortunately, he has a guy in front of him who is just not UFC level. He's known for his durability and grit, and with a recent loss by knockout to Wellmaker and losing in round one to Guido Cannetti a while back, you got to put an asterisk on the durability side. Quinones' long-range weapons should be hitting the mark very often, as Moutinho tends to just walk into range with his head in the center and his hands low. If he wants to unload in the boxing range, Moutinho is pretty low risk with his counters because he just eats the shots and then resets and then looks to come forward again. My only worry is if Quinones has thrown everything but the kitchen sink and Moutinho is still coming at him late in the fight. Like Moutinho is great at pouring it on when opponents are tired and hurt, and I wouldn't be surprised if Quinones has a generational round 1 and 2, looks like prime Mayweather in there, and just fades and falls off a cliff in
I
round
would
3.
love that.
Definitely a sight to see, but I do doubt that happens. I think we may get a slightly more conservative Moutinho here, who's like he's fighting for his job and not coming in too recklessly like in these exchanges. So I think I see him fighting with a bit more intent in winning minutes, but we'll just find. I think he's going to find himself getting outclassed, and we'll get a Quinones here who's been out of the octagon for 2 years, like maybe finding his groove, not pushing a pace that gasses him, especially in altitude, and trying to get sustained success with his long range weapons. So I did kind of lean on the overs, but the overs is only like what plus 100 or something, plus 110. I think I'm more inclined to see the fight go to distance at plus 220.
Yeah,
Don't know if I'll play it or not, but
over 1.5 is like minus 140. Over 2.5 looks to be plus money, like plus 130, and then fight goes the distance is like plus 200, somewhere around there. So
yeah, I'm more inclined on the fight goes the distance.
This might be your favorite violence, non-violence play.
It might be. It might be.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. This is like World War Z. This is going to be like watching World War Z, where it's like Quinones just beating the fuck out of Moutinho and just this zombie just coming still. And to be honest, I'm rooting for the zombie here. I hope the zombie pushes forward and fucking gets his meal of Quinones somehow, because I think it'll be cinema if he does. Yeah. But hard to bank on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's weird with some fighters. Like sometimes they'll have sometimes their chin just shows up on the day. I don't know if you like get that feeling. Like Marc-Andre Barriot, for example, like against Mikhail Oksajak, his chin just showed up on the day, but then other days like he's just out with like one punch.
100%.
Could be a Moutinho kind of thing here.
I could definitely see that happening. All right, up to women's bantamweight, we have Eileen Perez, who is going to shake it for the boys, taking on Macy Chiasson, who I hope we never see shake it for the boys. Prices, we have Eileen Perez minus 180. The comeback on Macy Chiasson is plus 155. Ryan, does Eileen Perez win and shake it for the boys, or does Macy just disgust us to a win?
Look, this is a fight I want to stay away from with all my being. I've lost too much money believing in Macy Chiasson, and I feel Eileen Perez is due for one of those performances that bring her back to earth. Like I can't believe she's on a 5-fight win streak. I think she's a bit of an overachiever, but yeah, she has dominant grappling, and when she gets the fight to the ground, she's great at timing her takedowns, usually under her opponent's punches. She's very explosive once she drives through the hips, and when she's on top, she has very heavy top pressure. But at times she can get reversed as she gets overzealous. Her striking game is pretty low level, like stays light on her feet, throws a lot of front kicks, and would just leap in with fast combos, like thrown like pretty wildly. But yeah, the striking is just a bide time before she shoots, and with her past 5 opponents, like she has definitely gotten her way via the grappling. Macy Chiasson, she's on a 2-fight losing streak. Very, very tall for the division, but doesn't use her advantages too well. But when she's on, like she pressures forward with kicks up the middle, lands hard combos in a pocket, then works in nasty knees and elbows in the clinch. Her takedown ability is pretty good, especially with body locks and trips. And when she gets the fight to the ground, she has nasty ground and pound. Once on top, and she is opportunistic with subs, but she's just extremely untrustworthy. She's prone to shit in-fight decisions. She's too easily hit, and she can be out-volumed, and she can crumble as opponents mount success. But I think this is actually a winnable fight for Chiasson, especially with her height and physicality advantage that Perez is not really used to. Like, this will be Perez's tallest opponent, and she's got pretty good takedown defense. Like, if Macy can mount up volume in the boxing range with her sharper and faster hands, get her clinch game going, punishing Perez with knees to the midsection, which gets her hesitant to shoot, I think she can shut down Perez's game completely. But I do not trust Macy. Like, she will have success in the clinch, go for a trip, and end up immediately getting reversed and give up a whole round, or she'll fall off the back trying to rush a rear naked choke, or somehow getting dropped by Aileen Perez by strikes. Or she could just be in the back foot and doing a whole lot of nothing, like throwing on air for like most of the fight. So at these prices, it is a dog or pass, and I don't know if I can lose 3 bets in a row on Macy Chiasson. I do think the 2-fight losing streak was up against solid competition, and Perez has been beating girls who'd probably wilted a bit more easily to her grappling pressure. So no bet for me. I think Macy could probably win this fight, but yeah, what almost drawn me to this fight is that it was probably the most likely underdog, like odds wise. Like, she's only like a plus 140, but yeah, I'm definitely choosing to stay away from here.
Yeah, I think you summed that up pretty well. Took the words right out of my mouth, to be honest. Like, the value is all on Chiasson. It's plus 155. I think she's the side for sure. And from the betting angle, I'm just not playing it. Like you said, I don't trust her. She's had just so many letdown spots where she should have won. And like, you look back at that Yana Santos fight, and it's an ugly result. Like, but I also think Yana Santos would probably give Eileen Perez a fair amount of issues too, just with that style. So yeah, I completely agree. Like, physically, Chiasson should be the better fighter here. Like, she's bigger, she's taller, she's probably stronger. I think she's probably the better striker, and I think her sort of grappling like pressure that she uses probably should negate a lot of Perez's skills. But I don't trust her. I don't know how you could possibly trust her. I think, honestly, if I was to play anything in this fight, it would be Chiasson money line, because I think there is value plus 155. I just think it's closer than that. I think it's closer than that. I think she's fought better girls than Eileen. And this is probably a step up in competition, but it's just an ugly one where I don't trust her. So, yeah, it has to be a pass. Just has to be a pass.
Yeah. Toilet break.
Yeah, it's probably going to be an ugly kind of grueling split decision cage push sort of fight for 15 minutes. So, yeah, pretty ugly. Speaking of pretty fucking ugly, here we go. Ryan Gandra, men's middleweight, taking on Jose Daniel Medina, one of the worst fighters we've ever seen in the entire UFC. And that is saying something. We've been around for 20, 30 plus years now. This guy could be the worst of the worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got Ryan Gandra minus 750. The third minus 750 upwards favorite. The comeback on Jose Daniel Medina plus 525. Something.
What's there to break down?
Can I be honest with you? Here's my one sentence breakdown for Jose Medina. And this is not racial or anything. I've written fat Latino spastic. Tough, but shit everywhere.
Yeah, that sums it up.
He's durable. He can take shots, but is he going to be pushing for a win? How does he win?
Injury.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know how he wins. On Gandra, I've got former fat boy, all but certainly on the juice. I don't think he's like particularly skilled or good, but he'll move forward with pace and pressure. He swings hard, and he's clearly got power in his hands. I don't think he's going to be good over 15 minutes. I think he clearly is deciding this fight just off the fact Medina's a bum, barely throws back, and is as competitive as a heavy bag would be in the octagon, but. I don't know. I'm not super high on Gandra. Reminds me of like a slightly faster Vitor Petrino with like less grappling and wrestling. And I hate that guy as well. So yeah, I mean, how the fuck do you even begin to get involved on this fight? Tell me, Ryan, please.
You can go round one, Ryan Gandra at plus 160.
But I don't even know if he finishes him early. Like he should. Obviously, he should. Minus 750. If you don't finish him round one or round two, what are we doing here? But
yeah,
God knows. God knows.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. But what's more bizarre is Jose Medina. He keeps on getting put on these Mexico and UFC no shake. He's not even Mexican. He just his last name's just Medina.
He's Bolivian. He's
Bolivian. So I don't know how he's 0-4 under the UFC banner. He got a contract in Contender Series because he took some damage and smiled.
Yeah.
And lasted late into the fight. And to be honest, like he did kind of turn it on against Reese and Gadzi Asulov in round 3 of those fights. But yeah, he's just a fighter now. That this is going to be his last fight. We're not going to ever have to talk about this guy ever again.
Thank fuck.
Gandra probably finishes this guy. Like Gandra's he's not that good. Like he's very green, but he has that kind of brawling style that like he swings wild and he headhunts, and I think Jose Medina's head is right there. So I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, you can't tell me you don't want to like. I mean, for cinema purposes, right? Jose Medina round 3 plus 3,000. Let's say.
I've played that before, and
I've also played it before. It was against. Don't think it was a T-bar. It was either Zach Reese or Dusko. I forget.
Oh, well,
I think it might have been Zach Reese, to be honest.
Well, those were great bets. Like I went with a T-bar.
Yeah,
I don't know. Something told me he would like a T-bar would just not. This was around the time when Medina wasn't like never got knocked out.
Yeah.
So I thought that Medina would just somehow survive that first 2 rounds and we get like a really gassed out of T-bar. But yeah, nah.
I can see plus 4,000 on one book. For Medina wins round 3, and that's just got cinema written all over it. Like I would love to just have that slip and just post that on Twitter because you just know it would go viral. I feel like I'm gonna have to just throw like some change on it.
Yeah, look, these are just one of these cards where like I'm sure that we're bound. Like with all these heavy favorites, we're bound for some crazy result somewhere.
Yep, 100% agree. I mean. This could be the fight because, like, to be honest, if Gandra doesn't finish him round 1, I think he like massively falls off a cliff.
Yeah, could you imagine Gandra just absolutely gassed out and Medina just smiling at him?
I mean, this Gandra is a guy who I said is a former fat boy, has cut down. I don't think he looks good at all, like across 15 minutes.
No.
So I think this is an attackable like spot for the round 3 play. It's just like Medina, he sucks. Do you want to have it? Not really, but just throw $10 on it. That's the best way to play this fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and that is the headline of the prelims. That's what we're dealing with here. Okay, on the main card now, opening the main card. Santiago Luna, men's bantamweight, taking on Angel Pacheco. Get ready for these odds, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll, please. Santiago Luna minus 650. The comeback on Angel Pacheco plus 450. Ryan, talk to me about this fight.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed by what I've seen so far from Santiago Luna. Like he's got high level wrestling and he's got credentials too. He's a 3-time national champ, but he is getting more comfy with his hands as well. He has a 100% finish rate, applies nonstop pressure, and looks to impose his physicality and raw power. His striking is still developing. Like he could be better, but he has heavy hands, and if he connects clean, he's likely to really hurt you, drop you, or even get the knockout. thing with him is he can get hit a lot, especially as he's unloading, but he tends to just eat it and comes forward. He's got that Mexican chin. This could be a problem if he never fixes these holes in his striking as he gets better competition. But yeah, he's got huge physicality, explosiveness, and strength. We'll look to ragdoll through guys using body locks and trips. And once he gets on top, it's pretty much on its way to getting a finish. He's up against Angel Pacheco, who earned a contract from a loss in Contender Series to Danny Silva. So these are two guys in a row now, 2 fights in a row with guys earning contracts from a loss.
Yeah.
And even worse than that, this guy has a loss to Kalen Loughran.
Oh my god.
And he was outstruck by him by like 160 strikes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this guy has an orthodox stance, looks to get in the pocket and unload combos. He kind of, I wouldn't say he thrives in a rock'em sock'em fight, but like he at least, his highlight reel is from moments where he's in a rock'em sock'em kind of fight, mixes up well to the head and body when he has opponents covering up. But this guy lacks speed and explosiveness to be a threat with this kind of style, and he can just walk straight onto jabs and straight rights. He's very counterable as he's unloading and doesn't raise his guard. Takedown defense is piss poor. It's like easy to time takedowns under his punches. But one thing about him is that he has shown to be durable. Never been finished throughout a 15-year pro and amateur career, but look at the competition there. I think Santiago Luna should run through Angel Pacheco here and should be able to hand him his first loss by finish. How he does it is, however, the question, and that's where you get your plus money. Pacheco is very hittable, and Luna has fallen in love with his hands. I do think, like I said, Luna will get in trouble one day if he chooses to rely on his striking with someone who's at a good level, but Pacheco absorbed 140 strikes to Kalen Loughran. Like, I think Luna should be fine. Pacheco is very easy to take down as well, and I can see Luna changing levels under Pacheco's swings and just get him to the mats and dominate him. So from there, it's kind of a coin toss if he locks up the sub or looks to force a referee stoppage. I played Santiago Luna by sub at plus 240. Only played it for 1 unit. I just have this strange feeling that like Pacheco, it could be like a club and sub situation, or he could just go back to his roots. Because this guy was a grappler before he was like fall in love with his hands.
I believe he's a Greco-Roman, right?
Greco-Roman. So he could easily, and Pacheco is just there to be, his hips are right there to be taken down. So I think he could make this a really, really easy showing and just get him to the ground, lock up the sub, or like maybe Pacheco's like chin does hold up, he gets rocked, and then like in the finishing sequence just finds the opportunity for that choke. So yeah, flip a coin if you want. Like I know knockout is I think around plus 140, plus 150 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just took the sub line at plus 240. I think there's value on that.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? Because unfortunately, with these big ass favorites that are fucking drowning this card out, you got to look to take shots and find the value where you can. And unfortunately, with a minus 650 price tag, you're not going to get an ITD that's juiced enough to really be to really make money on. So you are going to probably have to look towards some sort of prop. So I get why you've done that. On Luna, like I think I think the kid is pretty decent, to be honest. He's good in a few mixed areas without being great in any of them. I actually think his wrestling, to be honest, is pretty fucking good. He's green, and that's fine. He's 21. I'm sure he's going to develop and improve. But like right now, I'm just not really looking to back him at huge price tags. This is a fight where I would, though, because Pacheco fucking sucks. Luna clearly has power in his hands and wants to fight like a scrappy style of fight. He hurts. He looks to hurt and looks to finish all his opponents, which I love. I just wish it wasn't at the detriment to his striking defense, which it is currently at the moment. We saw that in the Quang Lee fight, ate a few shots to give shots. So if that's the style he wants to have, that's fine. It's just nervy when you get these massive price tags. He's got pretty decent Greco-Roman wrestling overall. Like I said, I believe he's got a background in it, and you can see it when he gets close to his opponents. Like he's got a lot of good throws and suplexes and that style of takedown. All that being said, if he loses to Pacheco, I think you can write him off completely as a prospect, to be honest. However, I don't think he does. Pacheco doesn't really have power in his hands, although I do think he might be able to land at some point, and he does usually get in wars. So if they both get hurt, who knows? But losing to like a 5'4" Irish midget who can't box is really as bad as it gets, and getting hurt as well is even worse. So I think Luna's power is on a different level. He can wrestle if he needs to. He should win, and he should finish. Luna ITD. is definitely the outcome, but it's minus 200. So
No.
yeah, I don't know how you can play an ITD like that. Like I do think it lands at a pretty fucking high clip, but that is let me see what percentage that works out to be. 1 sec, minus 220. It's 60. It's just under 70%.
Yeah.
It's probably accurate, to be honest. It's probably accurate. It's just not a lot of value on it. But yeah, Luna should finish him. I don't know if it's TKO or sub, but yeah, I don't mind the sub look at the plus 2XX that you said. So yeah, not a bad way to play this fight at all. Alrighty, up the card to a fight that I'm kind of intrigued by. I think this is a pretty fun one, to be honest. Imanol Rodriguez taking on Kevin Borjas. Prices we are dealing with. Imanol Rodriguez minus 450, somewhere around there. The comeback on Kevin Borjas plus 350. Speaking of 5'4" midgets, you got another one right here. In Imanol Rodriguez, he kind of like, I don't know if you get this as well, but he kind of reminds me of like a scale shrunk down Peyton Talbot.
Yeah, I get that.
Like to a degree. He likes to move forward and pressure you with his boxing. He seems to be like relatively physical, which is funny because he's 5'4" and he fights at flyweight, but he does seem to have like a physicality advantage versus most of his opponents so far. Like he's been able to throw him around quite a bit, which I think is just hilarious. But I don't think he's near to like a finished product, but his finishing instinct is very hard to deny. If he hurts you, he is urgent for that finish, which I like. He's got a fine kicking game, but he's going to be at a size disadvantage here. So I think he's either going to land kicks on the outside or fight in the pocket. No real in between. He's got great speed in his hands. He's going to hurt you if you give him the chance. On to Borjas, like I kind of think he's a fine fighter, to be honest. I just think you can't pick him when he's going to be on or not. Like he looks great sometimes and he looks awful sometimes. Like maybe it's just a style of matchup where Lazy Boy is built for a guy like Borjas to look decent against, but then you've got like, I don't know. I just thought he would look better against Alessandro Costa.
We both picked him too.
Yeah, I thought he would look better in that fight, and he looked bad. He looked really bad. So I think this guy, maybe it's mental because I don't think his skill set is that bad. Like he's a pretty good kickboxer. He can look okay, like defending some takedowns sometimes, but he's got nice offense, and defensively he isn't terrible, to be honest. Besides wearing leg kicks. My issue with Borjas is like he's kind of low volume and he doesn't seem to go first as much as he could, which I think would sort of immediately improve his game overall. He tries to fight off the back foot too much. He's far too hittable there. I just tend to think he's going to be at a speed disadvantage, although like being longer. And I think he won't be able to stop Imanol getting in close here. And when he does, I think he's going to land with power or either take Borjas down, to be honest. So Borjas is kind of tough, but I think he can be broken as fights go on, and we've seen leg kicks really butcher him. So I was interested to see what Imanol ITD opened at. It's minus 135. It's not awful. I like to get plus money on those props, but minus 135, not awful. I think Imanol probably should finish him, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm personally taking the shot on Borjas.
Nice.
At plus 325. Rodriguez, deserved favorite. But I just think that line is a bit wide. And for as much as Rodriguez has the ability to finish this fight, I think Borjas does as well. Like I really enjoy Rodriguez's style, but I think it presents a lot of openings for some of Borjas's best weapons. Like Borjas works off a sharp jab, whether he's on the front foot or the back foot. And Rodriguez does seem to be happy walking into jabs and using that as entries to explode into flurries. But Borjas is pretty good at defensively at angling out with his footwork and countering over the top with his right hand as opponents close the distance. I can see some exchanges like that, especially early. And as Borjas is circling the cage, he does well in sort of luring his opponent into a false sense of security, seemingly thinking they're backing him up and having him purely on the defensive, and then he just leap in with like a lightning fast 1-2, which I won't be surprised if it drops or knocks out Rodriguez. Obviously, I worry if Rodriguez starts to get his game going, mounts up his offense, and is constantly backing up Borjas and mixing in some of the wrestling. But his chaotic style of blitzing just kind of leaves him wide open. I know Borjas shat the bed in his last fight against Sumadoji, but that is an opponent he couldn't track down as he kickboxed from the outside. Tricky guy with
tough matchup.
Yeah, very tough matchup there. Whenever Borjas faces someone who's willing to engage in the pocket, like he has good moments, like even in fights he's lost. But here we not only have a guy willing to stay in the pocket, but a guy who also has the reckless abandon that would allow for Borjas to, like at any moment, change the trajectory of the fight with like a simple 1-2. So it's not a high confidence, so only a 1 unit play. But these odds are just too wide for me. I think Borjas can get a knockout, but also could win a veteran decision. Even like Rodriguez has never gone to decision other than that split decision fight in the Tough House, which is a good look against Joseph Morales. I think he arguably won that fight. But yeah, in a professional setting, he's never gone to decision. Furthermore, never gone to round 3. And Borjas does have pretty good experience. There are things to worry about, like especially the leg kicks, and he can back up too much. But I do think the recklessness of Rodriguez and like his air of invincibility could get him in trouble against someone who's pretty experienced, has fast and accurate hands, fights well from distance, and on the back foot, he can just easily like throw one of those 1-2s that just crack through the middle. So yeah, I'm taking a shot on Borjas here.
Yeah, fair enough. I get it. I guess if he went first a little bit more, I think you'd have way more chance in this fight. So I don't know if you see him go early. If you see him early going first, like you're probably going to be pretty happy. And everyone's going to talk about Mexico City altitude, blah blah blah, this and that. Who knows? Maybe Imanol, gasses out as the fight goes on. You never know. You never know. But yeah, I'm on his side. I think he probably finishes, but it's hard to argue. Plus 350 on Borjas looks pretty decent. Up the card to not the feature fight of the night, just under the feature fight of the night, we have Edgar Cháirez taking on Felipe Bunes. Prices, we are dealing with Edgar Cháirez minus 355. The comeback on Felipe Bunes plus 290. Ryan, talk to me about this fight, my brother.
Yep. So I'll start with Edgar Cháirez. He's 2-2 with 1 no contest in the UFC. This guy's got slick jiu-jitsu, doesn't really chase takedowns, but he's just very opportunistic with his grappling for when he's in close and tied up. Does very good work off his back as well, particularly threatening arm bars and triangles, and very good at working his way to take the back. On the feet, he's very dangerous. He works behind a piston-like jab, chops down the legs with calf kicks, and looks to counter with big shots when opponents come forward. He is pretty hittable though, as he stands tall and sometimes a little stiff in his movements, but it'll take a lot of damage to be able to finish this guy on the feet. One thing about him is that he doesn't defend leg kicks as well. Onto Felipe Bunes. He's 1-2 in the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision loss to Rafael Estevam. And admittedly, I'm a Felipe Bunes. Like I think this guy is better than what his record suggests.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He's a skilled fighter. I think he's just been a victim of some unfortunate matchmaking. Like he has a lot of losses in the regionals, but like he faced 3 Dagestani guys in a row with records of 7-0, 8-0, 10-1 at the time, and all of those fights went the distance. He has a loss to Hussein Formiga, who beat Davison Figueiredo, and in his UFC debut, he got none other than Josh Van.
Tough.
Overall, he's got a pretty good Muay Thai striking style. Like he has powerful counters, stinging jabs, and active kicking game. Manages distance well with front kicks, but if you get into the pocket, he is very hittable there. His grappling is pretty high level, 9 wins, 9 subs from 13 wins, and he's very active off his back. He's crafty in attacking arm bars and finding space to attack triangles or work towards other chokes. And if this fight stays on the feet, then Cháirez should absolutely murder him. But I think if Bunes can minimize like distance striking exchanges and force Cháirez to have to scramble, then I think there will be openings for Bunes on the ground. Like Cháirez does have really good jiu-jitsu himself, and both don't have the best wrestling. So like they could like attempt takedowns on each other, but I just think like there's going to be like exchanges along the fence, maybe some clinch work, and then someone's going to pull guard or something. But I do think Bunes will be very crafty in transitions and could surprise us with maybe armbar attempts, triangles, even leg locks, and or end up even taking the back. Like I know Cháirez has only losses to very good opposition in the UFC, including going the distance with the champ, but he's been caught by Aguilar in a guillotine and caught in an armbar in the past. So yeah, I'm just taking a little stab on Bunes by sub.
Fair enough. I'll kick off with Cháirez. I think I gained a little bit of respect for Cháirez after going back and really doing some solid tape study on him overall. He's fought tough competition, and he's actually done like surprisingly well, to be honest. He dropped Josh Van a couple of times. He finished CJ Vergara finally, which isn't that, it's not huge. He dropped Tatsuro Taira as well. So he's had some success against the upper echelon guys in this division. So he's clearly got some skill. And I think most of it comes off the back of his size and physicality and the fact that he's super durable. Like, he is a big guy for flyweight and he hits pretty fucking hard for flyweight. So I think that all sort of comes into it. Got a very tall and upright stance for the most part. Like, he's heavy on the legs. It makes him a good kicking target, but it also means most of his strikes are with pretty solid power. Can also mean that he's slow at times. It's just part of the style. He's usually got a pretty decent kicking game. He landed a lot on Van early, and that, in my opinion, would definitely change this fight with Bunes, who is very leg dependent. He's got a good variety of kicking output. He doesn't just spam outside leg kicks. He throws a lot of teeps and head kicks, and it just has good variety. I think he's pretty dangerous early, particularly. Like, if he wins, it's generally or probably a finish. Takedown defense, not great in my opinion, but he uses it to look for opportunistic submission attempts like guillotine. They're low percentage, but again, very finish oriented. I think most of his win equity is probably in round 1 and 2. Feels front loaded. Like, he's fine in round 3, but he's definitely just less efficient. Van was able to land on him plenty in close in the pocket by slipping that initial shot, whether it was the jab or the cross, and look for 2 3-punch combos. I don't think Bunes is good enough there to sort of take advantage of that, but if he could potentially have some success there. He's extremely durable to the head, but I've seen him hurt to the body a few times. Maybe Bunes looks to have some success if landing there. Onto Bunes, he doesn't push pace very much, to be honest. He looks to prefer being the fighter on the back foot, like looking for counters. He's got a kickboxing style. It's fine. It's just not that good overall. Got some okay kicks, just not a ton of power. He's also just too comfortable off his back. Like, he allows people to enter his space too freely, and he's happy to play guard off his back at times and look for triangles or sort of awkward entanglements, which can work, like the Jose Johnson fight, but it can also not work, as in the Rafael Esteban fight, where he just, was laying on his back, didn't have much upside there. I think he's also guilty of slowing down in fights where there is wrestling and grappling as well as when the opponent heavily targets the body, which has been pretty successful overall versus Bunes. So, overall in this fight, I think it's probably going to take place at kicking range for the majority of this fight. Like, both guys will probably have some success, given both are relatively easy to land on. But I think Cháirez has fought way better competition, much more competitively, and I think he has more to give. Plus, he's way more durable. So I think he could get put in some dicey areas, both on the feet and with submission entries. But I think he's going to be doing more, landing bigger, and I think he should be fresher late. So I think Cháirez probably wins, and I think he probably finishes Bunes. But I like under 2.5, minus 115.
Yeah, unders is good. I like unders.
Under 2.5, minus 115. That's how I would play this fight.
Yeah.
Alrighty, up the card to Daniel Zellhuber taking on King Green. Ugly. Feature fight of the night. Daniel Zellhuber, minus 500. The comeback on Bobby Green, plus 375. Again, this is one that you look at, you hold your nose, and you think, fuck, am I really going to play Bobby Green? Am I really going to do it? This is just... I don't even know where to start with this fight. Like, Bobby Green obviously got back in the win column over Lance Gibson Jr., but I don't want to put any stock into that win because Lance Gibson just looked awful in that fight. Not big power, barely through. I guess the worry with King Green is just the chin and the age at this point, the damage. And it's always going to be a concern till he finishes his career in the UFC. But minus 500 on Daniel Zellhuber, how many times can we be proven that this guy should not be a heavy price tag favorite? We've seen it with Trey Ogden, minus 400. We've seen it with Michael Johnson, minus 850. Can you get to minus 500 here on Daniel Zellhuber, Ryan?
Oh, hell no. No way.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's he's a flake. Look, he's young, he's developing, but like, how long could you be young and developing for? You know, he's 26 at this point. He keeps continually getting these layup opportunities, and he keeps letting himself down in big areas. Like, you know, if he wins, versus Michael Johnson, even if he wins against Trey Ogden in his entry to the UFC, it's just a different career trajectory to like what we're going to get now. And I just don't see where he's going to go. Like, he gets, I don't think he's clearly got a good chin, because he eats a lot of shots and he doesn't really get worried too much. The Ribovic fight was probably the first fight that we've seen him really get landed on and look concerned. And maybe that plays out more, but is Bobby Green going to come in here and knock Zellhuber out? I tend to think no. But this is probably going to be a striking fight for 15 minutes if it goes that long, if it goes there. And I don't think Zellhuber's minus 500 against King Green, who's an awkward guy, likes to, you know, put the chin out there, move with the head and awkwardly. Like, he's just an awkward dude. And I think Zellhuber could potentially struggle to get a read on King Green, but he also should probably win. I don't know how you comfortably see Zellhuber minus 500 and go, yeah, that's where I want to put my money. But I also don't want to put my money on King Green, although it's clearly the value side in this fight, in my opinion. So it's a pass for me. Hopefully King Green wins and we see Zellhuber, I don't know, get a fucking somehow. Can he even get a step down in competition in his next fight? I don't even know.
I don't know. Yeah, great breakdown, mate. I don't have too much more to add because you pretty much summed it all up.
Yeah.
I think this is a fight where, like, if you can spot out any value bets, then that could make it intriguing.
Yeah.
But look, Zellhuber, he should get back on the winning column. You can forgive him for the Ribovic loss, and though the Michael Johnson loss was concerning, like, MJ still has some of the fastest hands in the division, and in his southpaw stance, his speed and explosive movement, that was always going to present issues for him, as it kind of opens up MJ's rear left hand straight through the guard, and Zellhuber, he stands too tall with his chin high. Bobby Green may be a boxer and sort of comparable to MJ, like, he's a veteran as well, but I don't think his hands are as fast. He doesn't move like Michael Johnson, and I don't think he can taunt his way to a decision here, as I don't see him getting past Zellhuber's kicks from kicking range often enough and scoring enough volume. If you're spending minus 500 on Zellhuber, then good on you. That's all I got to say. But yeah, I did notice last night, looking through the odds, there was a disparity on most markets. Zellhuber by points was plus 165, around that range, plus 160. And on tab, I actually found Zellhuber round 3 or decision at plus 180. So I put 1 unit on that. Like, I think there's good value on that covers some, maybe a late finish if it gets there, but I think he wins by decision here.
Yeah, it looks like that is like plus 150, plus 160 across the board. So bought yourself an extra round for more money. So that's a pretty good result. I don't know how you could have any confidence in this fight or either side here, really. So, Glee. This is one I am interested to see where you've landed. I mean, I think it should be. Anyway, we'll get into it. Marlon Vera taking on David Martinez. We've both been pretty high on David Martinez since the Contender Series fight. I backed him on Contender Series. Backed him against Rob Font. Backed him to finish Simon Oliveira from memory. So I've been on him in all 3 fights in the UFC so far. You also have?
Yeah, all 3 fights.
And now he's coming in against Marlon Vera in the co-main event, minus 315. The comeback on Cheeto is plus 265, somewhere in that realm. How do you feel about this one? Because I sort of came in expecting a different outcome. Not to say I'm backing Cheeto, but what do you think happens here?
Yeah, look, this is just it's a weird one. Like, Cheeto is 1-4 in his last 5, currently on a 3-fight losing skid. Never been knocked out or submitted, known for that granite chin. And like, I'm sure everyone's familiar enough with his style, his Muay Thai, his power. He's got a pretty solid submission game. But man, he's just frustratingly tentative and low volume in opening rounds, tends to wait till round 3 to let his hands go. But when he does let his hands go and go for broke, like he's very dangerous, particularly with his knees and slicing elbows in close. And he's up against David Martinez, who's 2-0 in the UFC, beat Rob Font by unanimous decision on short notice. Very impressive there. And I think, we both just straight up backed his money line there. He's on a 9-fight win streak, with his lone loss being that split decision against Yanni Vazquez, the guy who I think he fought Javid Basharat on short notice.
Oh yeah.
And he has a win over Cháirez too. So not a bad fighter. Martinez has very aggressive and clinical striking, comes from a karate background, which we can see glimpses of in his style. He's got great long-range weapons, whips out lightning-fast kicks, particularly a strong leg-kicking game, and his straight punches are sharp and precise. Easily his best weapon is his slip counter right hand when opponents close the distance, and then he slips that jab, hits them with the right hand, and he's very good at swarming opponents with short, fast combos when they're stunned. I like that he can finish fights early, he can finish fights late, he can win gritty decisions, and a square like I was trying to look for a Cheeto kind of like a play here, because like the number is on him is so intriguing, but I think I ended up going to pretty square and just I'm gonna say Martinez will win by decision. Like that decision line alone though is like what, minus 180 to minus 200, and Martinez's money line is juiced too. So I'm confident he wins, and I personally have Martinez in a his money line rounding out a 3-leg parlay, as well as fight goes the distance rounding out another parlay. I'm more confident on the fight goes the distance part, but these prices on Martinez are just hard prices to give value to when you know it's most likely going to be a 29-28 kind of situation if it goes his way. But I do think whether Cheeto starts off hard and fast, which is very uncharacteristic or not, he'll struggle overall tracking Martinez down and having sustained success. Like Martinez moves a lot. He's so much more quicker. He has effective offense on the back foot and is shown to have pretty good cardio through 15 minutes. I know Cheeto's a step up from his competition, at least a step up in the danger aspect to Rob Font. He's definitely more of a threat, more of a knockout threat, but he's just incredibly flat-footed. He's not really a fast twitch athlete as well, and defensively pretty exploitable. Like I don't doubt he can have his moments and maybe snatch around, but I gotta favor the youth, activity, and agility of Martinez. So yeah, Martinez is the pick for me. I think he wins by decision, but like anyone taking Cheeto, I get it.
Yeah, I honestly, I've got a pretty extensive breakdown on this one. This is probably the fight that I looked into the most, just because I was surprised, to be honest. Like I said, I love David Martinez. I've backed him a lot in the UFC, but he was like almost a pick'em, slight favorite against Rob Font, and now he's minus upwards of 300 against Cheeto Vera, who I think is a tougher matchup for him, to be honest with you. And I didn't think that coming in, but after some tape, I really do, and I'll get into why I think that. But I'll try and make this as brief as I can, because I can literally have like almost a page of notes listed on just these two. But I don't want to touch on Vera's style too much. We kind of know what it is. He's sort of happy to, like, he's not super footwork oriented in the way that he's like happy to sort of shuffle back, cover, defend shots rather than like bounce in and out of range like Martinez will, for example. Cheeto wants to walk forward. He wants to feint into range, and he wants to land kickboxing output on you until he either breaks you or he wins a decision. I think Cheeto is a hard fight for most people because he's got pretty good skills overall, I would say. He's near impossible to KO, and his best rounds are late, which isn't, the typical style overall. But there's been a blueprint on how to beat Cheeto, and it's overwhelming with volume. You land more while pressuring him, and you get an early start, and you make him chase you. He likes to look for the knee up the middle if you're advancing, even in a round like versus Zahabi, where he dropped him in round 2. So he dropped Zahabi in round 2, and he clearly had more damage output. He made that round so close because he's just so inefficient. He's single shot oriented and he's low volume at times, which is crazy because he won 4 minutes of that round clearly. And the 1 minute that Zahabi decided to go, it like visually, it looked bad for Cheeto, which makes no sense. I don't think he has very good eyes in the pocket to look whilst covering up and return and counter. He sort of just allows the opponent to throw and resets typically. I talk about this all the time. I fucking hate it. Feint it, like, and it shows you the difference between a good striker and a great striker. is typically one that's comfortable to put his hands up, cover his head, make sure he doesn't absorb damage. But he's not looking for that counter shot while you throw. He's looking to just reset, and I kind of hate that a lot of the time. His feints, I think feints are generally a very worthwhile tool versus Marlon. He's very reactive, and as I said, he doesn't look to counter off the back of your entries, so they really are effective, which is really most of the reason why O'Malley dominated him and Cruz had success in that fight. I think his takedown defense is a little questionable. If you can get through to his hips, he's most likely ending up on his back. Like, yes, he has a pretty effective guard where he can land elbows pretty well, but optically, again, it's a bad look spending time on the back. And, even guys like Dom Cruz on the back end of his career, he really did win a lot of minutes in that fight off the awkward movement, the feint game, the pure volume, even though clearly Cheeto was, never really worried and had more power output in that fight. On to David Martinez, very, very effective at keeping the fight in his range. Great footwork to circle out. It's brilliant if he's backing up, and he has very good eyes that start the process of him retreating out of that hittable range. That's really the first piece of the puzzle of Martinez. The second is his kicking output. Very intelligent with his choice of kicks. He's happy to chop your outside leg kick at range, or if you're entering range, he'll use the teep or the front leg side kick to the body to push you back and really stunt your movement. I was surprised, watching the Font fight back. Font was actually pretty effective early at just pushing forward and, try to get in close landing on him. But he was still outlanded 3-1 in that first round, which is crazy. He'll look for body lock entries if you push forward into range too close, which, has, like I said, have been pretty effective versus Cheeto. I don't actually think the optics were great for Martinez for quite a bit of that fight versus Font, which is slightly worrying versus a wildly durable Cheeto. I think 3 rounds definitely benefits Martinez here, just given his fight style and his pace early, as well as Cheeto's late. So I also think when Martinez decides to bite down on the mouthpiece in exchange, he's actually very, very good, but he's just very danger averse, which I think is long-term a good decision. I just think it was actually let him have a heap more success in this particular fight. If he was comfortable to really look to throw down in the pocket, I think he has massive chance to hurt Marlon. I'm just not sure that he will because he's so comfortable circling out and retreating. Look, overall, this seemed like a straightforward pick, and coming into this tape, it would have been an easy Martinez call. But I kind of think there's a bit of value on Vera at this number. A few reasons for that. It's the biggest price tag we've seen on Martinez. And yes, he's going to out-volume Cheeto and probably follow the blueprint that, but the most strikes he's landed in the UFC is 79, right, versus Franklin on Contender Series. The next one was Font, where he landed 62. Both of these numbers, Cheeto is on average competing with in terms of output. I also think Martinez is going to allow Cheeto to move forward, which is where Marlon is much better of a fighter. And I also give a low percentage outcome of Martinez KOing Cheeto, which automatically makes this fight closer already. Martinez will have no problems touching Cheeto, just given how he covers up, which I've said 50 times. But Font has had plenty of success with his pressure, and while that pressure was probably more intelligent than Cheeto's is, you can kind of guarantee Cheeto will be in front of you trying to fight for a hard 15 minutes. I think at opening price of plus 130 to Cheeto, it's a no-brainer Martinez, but minus 255 it was, and now it's even higher, plus minus 315. That's over a 70, 80% chance. I just think it feels a bit over. So I'd be comfortable at 60, 65% probably, and maybe this has value loser written all over it, but I kind of think Marlon has a decent chance to keep it close, and at the price tag, this is not a close fight. So, yeah, I think betting wise, it's dog or pass very clearly. I haven't got a play on it yet, but yeah, I didn't think I'd love the look of Cheeto here, but I tend to think he looks like value.
Yeah, and in this whole card, he is the best underdog.
I would agree with that.
Actually, the best fighter who's an underdog.
Maybe the main event. Well, maybe we'll touch on it. But
yeah, we'll touch on it. Though one thing I'm interested in with this fight is fight goes to split decision. There's always a possibility with Cheeto fights.
100%. I would give Martinez round 1 at a pretty high clip. I'd also give Vera. I'd lean Vera round 3. I think it's probably still close, but I'd probably lean him a little bit. So it comes down to round 2, and at the price, I think it's kind of a no-brainer. But I hope Martinez wins. I like him, and I think he's long for the division. I think he'll be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, main event time. Let's do it. We have Brandon Moreno. I'm sick of this guy, to be honest with you. I'm sick of breaking down his fights. I'm sick of going back and watching tape on this guy. Taking on Lone'er Kavanagh. Prices, we have Brandon Moreno minus 210. The comeback on Lone'er Kavanagh is plus 180. I'll kick this one off. I think if whoever says that stoppage versus Cháirez was early. I mean, like,
It was fair.
What's that?
I think it was a fair stoppage.
I think it's very fair. Like, I think it's just an off take. Like, you really don't have to see your favorite fighter's brain, splattered all over the mat for the fight to be over. Cháirez landed like 20 shots upward unanswered while in a body triangle on top. So I agree. I think it's a pretty fair stoppage. And I think, honestly, the ref did him a favor because he was not moving and he would have just landed 5 more shots and probably gone unconscious. So I think the ref did him a favor. I don't think it was early in any sense of the word. But yeah, it's pretty clear to me that he's just lost a fair chunk of athleticism and physicality through the years. He just looks a bit slow and he's got less conviction than we've ever seen from him previously. Maybe that's a result of being done with the sport or, losing a step back in athleticism or just getting older. It's probably a combination of all those things. But I hate his style. I'm going to be honest. Like, I really hate watching it. He all he wants to do is be, in the tire drill. The boxing tire drill. You know what I'm talking about. The front leg in the tire, the back leg out, and he just wants to be there, just feinting, looking, throwing low volume, doing these stupid feints that don't set up anything and look terrible. I hate the fucking style. I absolutely despise it. He looks for single shots while covering up or parrying shots you throw. I say I hate his style now. It's because, honestly, he used to be really offensively good across the board in MMA.
So much.
Yeah, like he would mix in takedowns. He'd throw like a variety of different strikes on the feet. He'd actually use his grappling offensively. And that all seems to have either fallen off or minimized. Regardless, he's still a very, very, very good grappler, to be honest. Like, he's particularly in scrambles, he's pretty effective and he does seem to win an advantageous position more often than not. Like the Cháirez ending aside, he had Cháirez in an awkward position for several minutes in round one, and like a close submission, close enough submission attempt. So I do think he's still a good grappler. And I think if he looks for wrestling here, that's his best chance for victory. Like, I think he should be looking to wrestle and scramble and grapple in this fight. If he doesn't, I think he's just silly. We've seen him against other, really good strikers in Kara-France, and he competed pretty well on the feet for that fight. Obviously, he finished him with that body kick, but I think he's regressed quite a bit since that fight. And I think Kavanagh is getting Moreno at a very good time in this one, to be honest with you. On to Lone'er, like, it is interesting to get this matchup versus Moreno in Mexico on short notice after, not only his first loss, but like a genuine KO stoppage to Charles Johnson. But that's the reason why I love this sport. And it's why I love getting to break down these fights, because who would have thought that when the opponent pulled out, who would have thought that Lone'er Kavanagh was going to get the opportunity and, be able to right the wrongs of that last Charles Johnson fight, which I don't think there was much wrong, to be honest. Like, he looked really fucking good in round one. In the early stages of that fight, he looked really good. And I think he is a good fighter overall. He's a primary kickboxer, fairly heavy on the lead leg, but overall, I love his style of striking. He's varied enough to be able to slide back out of range and look for that pull counter, but he's also good enough to stay in the pocket, slip and counter, which is why I say when I see these strikers like Cheeto who tend to just cover up, absorb, and then reset, it's dumb. It's dumb. And you see it with good strikers like Lone'er Kavanagh and these other guys who have eyes in the pocket and they look to counter. They're just way more of a dangerous style. Great kicking output, good variety, targets all three levels very well, good speed. If they get into exchanges, I think Kavanagh has a huge chance of hurting Moreno. The speed and the accuracy is a different level, and he's comfortable staying in close while looking to land. And I think Moreno's initial defense is a little lax at times. So I think he could have an opportunity there. I think he can panic at times against the cage when he gets backed up. It's definitely where he's most vulnerable. This is where Charles Johnson KO'd him. And Ochoa also hurt him slightly and was able to take his back easily and may have submitted him late in round two if there was a little bit more time on the clock. So I think if Moreno looks to move forward, get him against the cage, shoot takedown shots, that's going to be his best path to victory. We haven't seen him do that in years, to be honest. We haven't seen him do that in years. So I like the dog here. I wish I was getting a bigger number that's gone down now. Like, if I could get plus 200, plus 210 on Lone'er, I'd have been very, very happy with that. I didn't get it. Plus 180, I'm still pretty interested, but I think this fight finishes, whether it's Moreno by sub or Loney knocking him out. I'm pretty confident this fight doesn't go to the scorecards. I think it's the first time we're seeing Kavanagh over 5. I think he's way too dangerous on the feet, and I think Moreno's a better grappler. Should it go late, that he'll have opportunity to sub him. So yeah, I like under 4.5. It's plus money, and I like Lone'er Kavanagh. I think dog or pass, and I like the dog. So yeah, I think Kavanagh knocks him out. To be honest with you,
Nice. I'm on the opposite end. I played over.
over. Okay.
Yeah, I think this will go deep. It's hard to like. I don't know what to make of this fight. Like Moreno, he's arguably way past his best, and like even, whether he is regressed in his ability or he just like is just a bit more lazy and he just wants to be single shot orientated or like just over swinging at all times. Like I think it's hard to go past his durability and cardio. Yeah, I know he got TKO'd by Tyra, but that was mostly to like getting stuck in his position on the ground. Um, Perhaps durability and cardio is simply the ingredients needed here. But I think Kavanagh is so skilled. He if he had lost by if he had won by split decision to Charles Johnson, I could almost guarantee this line would be like much closer.
Would be a pick 'em, right?
Would be straight up pick him if he had even won by split decision, like in a fight that he probably shouldn't have won or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was just a defensive lapse. Like I think we've seen Kavanagh slow down, but like we've seen him like have a second win as well. Like the Jose Ochoa fight,
Yeah.
like he had to really bite in his mouthpiece in there and like get going. And against Charles Johnson, I just think it was a matter of, yep, it's like I had a lot of output in round 2. And then Charles Johnson starting to, like momentum's going his way. I'm just going to back up a little bit. I don't think he was gassed in that instance. And he just had his hands down. Like
I also think it was a bit of an ego thing because if you watch that one back, I think it was round 2. He did like these 3 big mat returns for Charles Johnson where he like picked him up and dumped him. I think honestly that might have played a part. I think he might have like got overzealous.
And then kind of discouraged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as you'd be very discouraged if you did like 3 of those big mat returns, and then in the last minute of the round, the guy's pouring it on you.
100%.
And it just came down to that defensive lapse where he just exited the pocket with his hands down and bang. Like I think a lot of guys get knocked out, like in that instance.
Oh, especially that shot.
That one shot.
Yeah.
So I find it hard seeing Moreno be very dominant here because of like the style that he has now and Kavanagh being so technically skilled. But I don't know, like I find it hard to see Kavanagh like winning along the distance as well. Like I think Moreno is good enough to maybe like be enough of a veteran to like secure like some of maybe an early round and then 2 of like the last rounds. But I don't doubt that Kavanagh's gonna have many moments. And I think a lot of people are like knocking on him about cardio. I think it'll be just fine because Moreno, he's not gonna push like a hard pace. He just stands in front of you, kind of like looking at you with this like little dumb smoke.
Yeah.
And he's like, I hate watching this guy. He
does this thing where he like leans forward and he goes,
yeah, he's kind of smiles, goes like that.
Yeah, I hate it.
There's so many things like about him that just pisses me off.
Yeah, and the other thing is being into Lego at 40 years old. Anyway, continue, sorry.
There's that. I think Kavanagh's going to have a very good performance. I think he is like whether he loses or not. Like I think he is going to make a really good account for himself. I do think Moreno is going to be a bit too durable, and I think Kavanagh, especially coming off that round 2 knockout, I think he is going to be like durable as well in this fight. And he's not going to be facing someone who's going to push a suffocating pace. I'm happy to stay out. I think if I was to bet on a side, it's 100% going to be Kavanagh. I don't know if I'm going to get there or not, but yeah, I do think both of these guys will be durable enough to go over 4.5 rounds. So we're going to be in the opposite ends of this fight.
Yeah, it's not that I don't think either of them are durable enough. It's just that I think like there's a striking disparity where Kavanagh, if this spends time on the feet, like I really think he's going to mount damage up, to be honest. Like whether it's like the chopping leg kicks or the good hands in the pocket or anything like that, I think he's going to land massive damage like on the feet. And that's not to say he's guaranteed to finish Moreno, but Moreno looks pretty slow, and I think he's going to absorb a lot of shots. Like round one could be the difference in this fight, to be honest. Like if Kavanagh comes out, lands like 10 leg kicks early, that could dictate this whole fight, to be honest. Because if Moreno can't move forward, he's fucked. He's absolutely fucked. He has to move forward and getting close to grapple. But I think if he does grapple, he is a chance of submitting Kavanagh as well. So I get what you're saying with the overs, and maybe it plays out that like Kavanagh slows down, Moreno picks up, and it sort of just stalemates out to a decision. I think that's definitely an outcome too. But like, I don't know, give me 25 minutes to find a finish for either guy where I think they both have potential, and one guy has sort of slowed down before, and it's, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I don't mind it. So you're usually better than me at landing these round plays.
I think this fight is like gonna be you versus me in like our kind of like betting styles.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I typically lean to the violence, and you typically lean to the decision. You're typically more right than I am on those calls. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's a fun main event. I'm excited for it. And once again, I hope Kavanagh wins because I think it'd be much better for the division. So I'm rooting for him, and I'm
sick of seeing Brandon Moreno. He's kind of like Rose Namajunas, like the equivalent.
Legit, he is. That's actually a great comparison. But that is UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Kavanagh. Regardless of the betting odds, I am excited to watch this card. I hope it's good. I was worried about this card going ahead in Mexico with all the shit that's going on over there. But
yeah, I know, right?
I haven't heard a peep from the UFC, so maybe they got it on lock. They must have like a fucking a private army over there or something.
Well, but I think Mexico City is a bit different.
I got no idea. I don't even know where they're fighting, but I just assume it's like all relative.
Yeah, if Mexico City is like as high in altitude as it is, I think it might be safe.
yeah, we'll see. Okay, we'll go bottom to top. Final picks and predictions. Any bets you want to give out that you've got on, and then we'll get out of here. So, Damian Pinas taking on Wes Schultz. Say that one very slowly. Pause.
Yeah, I'm going with Damian Pinas.
I think he should win by KO, but I'm not rushing to play him, to be honest. Eric Silva, Francis Marshall.
Francis Marshall probably.
I've got a little nibble on Silva by submission plus 1,800. I think that's pretty good value. I think he probably loses, but we'll see. We'll skip the girls fight because it just got announced. DSDA taking on Javier Reyes.
Let's go DSDA.
Yeah, I got DSDA underdog as well. I like it. Christian Quinones versus Chris Moutinho.
I'm going to be cheering for Moutinho, but I think Quinones probably wins this one.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see some cinema from the zombie, but I think Quinones should probably KO him if he's, not retarded. Eileen Perez taking on Macy Chiasson.
I'm going to pick Macy Chiasson.
Again, I think this one's dog or pass. I'm passing, but it's a pass. But I think Chiasson has a really good chance. I just don't trust her enough. Ryan Gandra taking on Jose Medina.
Ryan Gandra. Surely one of these zombies have to win, Medina or Moutinho.
Like surely, maybe no, I can't be Pacheco, but surely one of them. I think Gandra should KO him round one, but like Medina plus 3,000 round 3. I feel like I just want to be on that just for the cinema. Just for the cinema. Main card: Santiago Luna, Angel Pacheco.
Santiago Luna.
Yeah, I think Santiago Luna finishes him. Imanol Rodriguez, Kevin Borjas.
I'm going with Borjas.
Yeah, I think Imanol probably should win ITD, but I don't have any bets on that one. Edgar Cháirez, Felipe Bunes. I'm on Cháirez here. I think, again, it's one that he should win. So I think that's the side. Daniel Zellhuber, King Green.
Zellhuber.
It's clear dog or pass. I'm passing. Again, this is just a not trustworthy enough sort of play. But Zellhuber should win. But we've said that many times in his career so far.
Yeah.
The co-main event, Marlon Vera, David Martinez.
I'm going to go with Martinez.
Again, this is the one that I think is dog or pass. I think it has to be dog or pass. Yeah. I don't have a play on Marlon yet, but maybe I might get to him, to be honest. I think I might get to him.
How about a handicap?
Yeah, plus 3.5 not a bad option. I haven't even looked at that. Let's have a look what we can see. Marlon plus 3.5 is minus 135 by the looks of it. Maybe
that could be nice.
Yeah, it's not a terrible price. It's not a terrible price at all. But yeah, I think David Martinez should win, but I think the price is just absurd, to be honest.
For sure.
And then main event, Brandon Moreno, Lone'er Kavanagh.
Lone'er Kavanagh, please.
Lone'er Kavanagh and overs for you. I've got Lone'er Kavanagh and unders, so we'll see. We've got the wager wise fucking civil war this week, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that is UFC Fight Night Mexico City. Brandon Moreno headlining against Lone'er Kavanagh. Anything you want to sign off with, my brother?
No, let's get through this card. It should be fun. It should be a fun one, but with all these heavy underdogs, I don't want to experience a card like this again. Betting wise,
I'd be surprised if all these big favorites win. I think one or two of them are going to shit the bed. It's just picking your spots. So we'll see. But I think it's fun. I'm just hoping there's.
Who do you think is most likely?
The most likely underdog.
Top two to shit the bed.
Oh, top two.
Like the minus like 500s, minus 600.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard to say because like the opposition is so bad, to be honest. But I think, gun to my head, it's tough because like I would say Gandra, but like Medina's so shit that I almost like I don't think it is. Yeah. I'd say maybe Zellhuber would have to be one of them.
I think that would be mine.
Minus 500, like that's absurd. I really like. I love Dave Martinez. You know, I like this guy. Yeah. I think minus 300 upwards is like insane, to be honest.
Oh, for sure.
Unless he like finishes him, which we just have no evidence that he will. But look, it could be the Dan Ige effect where it's time and the chin's gone. So maybe that. But other than that, maybe Francis Marshall. I think that's a guy that should never be minus 700. But yeah. I don't know. What do you think? You think?
I think Zellhuber would be most likely to shit it, but surely he doesn't do it again. Like, surely not twice in a row.
Will history repeat itself?
Yeah. Maybe, look, Ryan Gandra, he's probably...
Yeah.
Or, you know what? Quinonez is probably one of the worst fighters to be minus, like, 700.
I know, but then you've got, like, literally the worst fighter we've, like, ever seen, in, you know, besides him and Medina. Yeah, I'm with it, though.
Edgar Cháirez.
You reckon?
I reckon I might be the only one in the planet who thinks highly of Felipe Bunes. So
I like Bunes. I think he's got a good style overall, but I don't know. I was impressed with Cháirez when I watched it back, to be honest.
Yeah, same here.
So we'll see. I'm sure that there's going to be many talking points after this card. Straight like, there's going to be a couple. There's going to be one or two fights that'll just be like legit cinema. And it's probably going to be Chito Vera that you're on him at like, what was it, plus 200 upwards.
Yeah.
Plus 265. Like, I'll probably play him. He'll somehow get to plus 300. I'll play him, and he'll lose the 29-28 split decision, and it just like builds character.
Imagine if it's a fight where he clearly like wins in like the crowd's perspective, and he gets the fight taken off him.
It'll be hilarious. Like I can already tell that's what's going to happen. He'll lose, and it'll just be like, it's the best bet of all time. Builds character. It's just tough. Is what it is. But that is the WagerWise podcast this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Good luck on your bets. Make sure you follow Ryan on Twitter at Desperate Times with a Z1. You can follow me at Dribble Sport or Frank Dribble Provide Picks. I've got a few fucking accounts flying around these days, but you can head over to the Twitter and follow us there. We put some stuff out. Anything else, my friend?
No, that's about it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, the big 5-0 episode of WagerWise, which is exciting. We've got the BMF title fight between Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway. So should be a fun card. We'll be back same time as always. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your mates. Follow us on Twitter. Other than that, good luck with your bets this weekend. Make some money. Join the Discord because bets are coming back very, very soon with NRL coming up. So there's a link in my Twitter bio, I believe. But NRL back on Sunday this week. So bets are coming back for that.
We're back.
And things are going to start cooking.